Nof Kleber, hi friends, Darth Momo here, and recently I purchased episode 1 Novelization and got a chance to read it. I gotta say, overall, it was definitely interesting. I don't know if I'd say it was better than the book. I know some people say, like, Revenge of the Sith novel is better than the movie, but I don't know if I'd say that for this one. I mean, overall, it was alright. I mean, I like the general story of the Phantom Menace, and I like the film in general, so it was fun to read through. This was definitely a good little, Jar Jar Binks, a good little companion piece. I thought I'd do a little short kind of review, just kind of talk about some things. I do, if you watched my episode 4 novel review, I'll have fairly similar criticisms for this one that I levied at that one in regards to the style. It felt like it jumped around a lot between what character was being focused on, or if there was even a character that was being focused on, or if it was just like a generic narrator. It wasn't as bad in this one as in the A New Hope novel, but I did find myself confused at several points, though. There are some ways I think that this does enhance the film, whether it's by adding a couple of extra lines or a couple extra moments or rewording some things. For example, that one line that gets memed a lot, at the beginning of the film when Newt Gunray goes, "They must be dead by now. Destroy what's left of them." I know a lot of people joke at how stupid that sounds, but in the book it was something like, "They should be dead, but destroy them if they're not." And I'm like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. um, or, for example, there were some times where, like, there was a line of dialogue that I didn't catch or quite understand in the movie that I got in here. For example, after they first leave Watto's shop, and Qui-Gon tells Obi-Wan, like, "Hey, this is what's up. We can't get the parts. Is there anything we have to barter with?" And they're about to go back out in the city, and Jar Jar goes, like, "No, no, not again. The locals," or something like that. He's like, "Queasy, we should be being robbed and crunched." And Qui-Gon goes, "Not likely. We're nothing of value. That's the problem." And he says it kind of fast, and I didn't actually quite catch the whole line every time I watched the movie, but in the book, like, I caught it. He's like, "Yeah, we have nothing of value. That's our problem." And I chuckled out loud after I understood that. Like, he's like, "Yeah," because this was right after he told Obi-Wan they don't have money for, the hyperdrive. So he's like, "Yeah, we have no value." And that's the problem. I did think there were some areas, though, where the dialogue kind of is worse in this than in the film. So, for example, like, sometimes it would just reshuffle some things, and or maybe, like, swap out some of the dialogue that doesn't work quite as well. Like, it would swap out some of Jar Jar's funnier lines with something more generic, or it changed it up and it was like, okay, well, now it's not as funny, or now it's kind of stupid, or now it doesn't even make sense. Or it would swap, like, lines around, maybe, like, move them a couple beats back, that just don't sound right or just feel kind of off. Or, for example, that line after they try to go back to Naboo and they can't find the Gungans in the Oto Gunga. Obi-Wan in the movie, it's Obi-Wan who says, "Do you think they've been taken to the camps?" And Panaka just goes, "They were probably wiped out." But in the book, it's reversed. It's Obi-Wan, or Panaka, who goes, "Oh, do you think they've been taken to the camps?" And Obi-Wan goes, "They were probably wiped out." Which just doesn't feel right for both those characters. The way it is in the film feels like it works much better. Another thing, too, is that part where Anakin says to Padme, "Are you an angel?" And then Jar Jar knocks some stuff over, right, and they get distracted. So in the book, that wasn't the end of their exchange. After Jar Jar knocks stuff over and kind of kills the moment, and Anakin goes, like, "Hit the nose," or whatever with the pit droids, right? And then after that, in the book, Anakin kind of turns back to Padme and he just looks at her and goes, "I'm gonna marry you." And she's just kind of like, "Oh," like, I felt awkward reading that. I don't know why that was thrown in there. I get that there was some effort. There definitely was effort by this author to try to better set up the love story between Anakin and Padme, because that was almost non-existent in the movie except for the "Are you an angel?" line, really. But, like, it just, I don't think that it works. And it's because of the fact that Padme is 14 and Anakin is 9, but also Padme is treated older because she is a queen and a leader of a planet, whereas Anakin is, a 9-year-old boy, and he is treated like a kid. So it just, I respect that he tried to better bridge that gap for Attack of the Clones, but it just doesn't work because of the choices that were made in the film. it just feels awkward to read. There's sometimes it's like, okay, this kind of works, but for the most part, it just falls flat or just cringe and weird. So yeah, I thought it was also interesting too how I've got my notes in front of me. There was a line too like the fear attracts the fearful. If you've ever watched Phantom Menace TV spots, you'll see that the Darth Maul says the fear attracts the fearful line in the Phantom Menace TV spots. But in the book, it's actually a line that Anakin says talking about Sebulba when he attacks Jar Jar. He's like, oh, fear attacks the fearful. You were afraid. And Sebulba's also afraid. I also thought it was interesting, too, that Qui-Gon talks about his master in the book. And he doesn't give him a name or anything, but he refers to his master being in the Jedi Order for 400 years, which obviously I know this came out before Attack of the Clones, but I thought that was really a little interesting, like, how well that aged. But overall, like I said, I enjoyed the book. Maybe give it a 7 out of 10, I guess. I don't know. It was all right. It was a decent read. It was quick, too. I got through it in just a couple of days, maybe reading for like 2-3 hours a day, probably. So it was a quick read. But, yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest problem with this one is that the Phantom Menace, like the Star Wars movies, I mean, we can have on-paper Star Wars books. That's fine. And I've enjoyed a lot of those. But the films themselves were designed for the cinematic media. You know, they were designed to be watched. So some of the action scenes in here, reading them was really difficult to follow or wasn't as engaging. Whereas in the film, like that's, you know, awesome and amazing and they're great for the film. So I think that was some area where this novel and some of the other novels probably too, that were the film adaptations kind of suffered in that regard. I definitely think the Phantom Menace movie is better than the book, but like I said, I don't hate the book. If you like the Phantom Menace, if you like the prequels, if you like reading Star Wars books, I definitely think it's worth reading. Like I said, it's quick. It's not bad. Like there are some ways in which it expands upon the films. So I think it's worth reading, but if you don't really care for the prequels, if you're not really if you're more of a visual guy than an on paper kind of guy, then this one's probably not for you. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining in. Darth Momo out, and may the Force be with you. Always. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, comment down below and hit that like button. Oh, and check out some of my other videos. I'm sure you'll find them a delight.